Hey, welcome to the Enlightened Strike, a podcast where we talk about flesh and blood for just 10 minutes. I'm Daniel, and this is episode number 5, Finance and Filthy Casuals. So, it's been a little while, 2 months to be exact. I'm not, in fact, dead. Things got a little crazy a few months ago with work and my YouTube channel, Quest for the Janklord. Not sponsored. So I had to step away from this for a while. I know you'd think that a 10-minute podcast wouldn't be a lot of work, which was the original intent, but it turns out that it still is. Content creators are wild beings. Last episode, we talked about the legendary equipment in Flesh and Blood and its current at the time prices, and whether or not that was a problem, just about the collectability and the accessibility of the game. I had a lot of fascinating responses to that, actually. It was enlightening, it was interesting, it was pretty cool to get feedback on that and for people to kind of join the conversation. So I appreciated that. If you did, I just want to talk briefly about maybe some of the things that people said. Many people, as it turns out, do not have a problem with the high prices of the legendary equipment, which actually surprised me quite a bit. While I don't agree with them, I see where they're coming from, and I thought they made a lot of great points, which, made me, I guess, consider their perspective and maybe appreciate it. So some of the things that people talked about were the fact that Flesh and Blood is not a rotating game. So when you're investing in these expensive cards, you don't have to worry about them not being playable in competitive play a year down the line. So, which is a good point. It's kind of a one-time purchase type thing. Also, the fact that these equipment are one-ofs, you don't need multiple copies, so that helps, which I also understand. The argument that I think couldn't quite get on board with was it's a card game, get over it type thing, and that higher levels of play don't need to be accessible to everyone, which I guess I would ask you, do things need to stay the way that they are in terms of how card games work? And I'm not sure what you're protecting besides exclusivity, especially when it comes to unlimited printing of cards. Like, I understand, like I've got a full art twinning blade that I don't want that value to go down, but I frankly don't care if my Spring Tunic unlimited version is worth $40 someday. But that's where I'm at. I think, there was a lot of good conversation. Some people were maybe who leaned towards seeing it as a problem or were maybe a little more neutral on it. Talked about the fact that, they're going to reprint these things, more unlimited is coming, and this idea of sharing cards between your community, which I thought was pretty cool. I had mentioned the opportunity to make trades, but I think the sharing piece is pretty cool. Kind of promoting that Flesh and Blood experience. And also just the idea when you're playing on your kitchen table or you want to test out a deck before you spend a bunch of money on it, just do proxies. All very viable options. So prices now, just it being 2 months later, the Mask of Momentum and the Tunic were the two problems that I talked about. The Mask was $219 on TCG Player 2 months ago. It is now down to $142. And then the Tunic was at $281, and that is down to $140 as of today. So prices are better. I wouldn't say they're great, but they are better. So that's good to see. Now I'm just waiting for a Shiyana to drop so I can build the deck with her. She's like $200 or something like that, which is a lot better than thousands. But it gives me hope that she's going to go down even further as the more waves of Crucible of War Unlimited come out. So I'm not sure why I've slipped into an accent there, but there we go. So overall, I think it's important to consider other people's perspectives. I think there's value to be had there from either side. So thank you to everyone who chimed in on that discussion. So right now, in the Flesh and Blood world, things are going on. Road to Nationals are happening around the world, the calling events, like here in the United States. Channel Fireball is hosting, 4 of them? I'm going to hope to get to one of them. Legend Story Studios, meanwhile, just yesterday announced that they're dumping $1 million into cash prizing into competitive play in 2022. So this is pretty amazing. The competitive scene is on the cusp of doing something. You've got Magic players and other gaming personalities getting excited about it or being like, whoa, what's this? So Flesh and Blood is on the cusp of something, and I'm really excited about that. But even with all this exciting stuff going on, I still feel like there's something missing. I've been evaluating my place with the game or my relationship to it, and I'm looking for something beyond the hyper competitive. I feel like there's this wonderful yellow brick road that's being paved by LSS to the Emerald City of competitive play, and it's amazing. But there's another road that's not yet paved. It's not even gravel, maybe. And I'm wondering how we as a community can start to make a way for the filthy casuals among us, or the filthy casuals not yet among us that are playing Commander or some other game. Like, yes, we can be patient for the James White confirmed co-op experience. I'm happy to wait for that to be amazing. And yes, the casuals will keep showing up to Armory events with jank Ranger builds and get our butts kicked. But I think the time is nigh for the Fab Filthy casuals to champion their own cause. So if that's you, I challenge you to buy a set of Blitz decks for your Magic friends and ask just for one night of Ultimate Pit Fight instead of Commander. These games don't have to replace each other. Things can live together. We can like multiple things. But just ask for a night to try something different. And maybe even our Fab supporting stores could have a night of Ultimate Pit Fight instead of Blitz or something like that. There's probably stores doing this, to be honest. And to all the content creators out there, where are the Ultimate Pit Fight videos? There's lots of competitive deck techs, market news, box openings. There's plenty of that stuff, and that's all good stuff. Let me be clear. And I know gameplay videos are difficult, but I think we're hungry for some casual jank. So I'm going to be thinking about that. And tomorrow night, I'm going to go play some Ultimate Pit Fight. I'm curious, listener, what you might be doing or ideas you have for supporting the Flesh and Blood casual experience in your community. Let me know in the YouTube comments or on Twitter, email, wherever. I'm interested to hear. And we'll talk about it next week. So that's all I got for today. Who knows if I said what I set out to say, but I said something. So have a good one. We'll see you next time. If you want to reach out, you can find us on Twitter and Gmail at eStrikeCast.